When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I really hope that you share this information today, because what we're talking about today is what you should be doing during a nuclear disaster or nuclear blast, okay? And I want to make sure that you know that I get this information from the government. I got it from ready.gov. And the reason I did that is because I want you to get it from a reliable source. And the government is pretty reliable since they're the ones that test all this stuff, and we have over 1,000 of them. So I'm pretty sure they know what the heck they're talking about, right? So I'm gonna read word for word what it says on the website, and I'm gonna comment on a few things, all right, that I find important that, you know, I need to talk about a little more than what they explain on there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. I don't think this video is gonna be very long, so let's get into it. A nuclear explosion may occur with or without a few minutes warning. Fallout is most dangerous in the first few hours after the detonation, when it is giving off the highest levels of radiation. It takes time for fallout to arrive back to the ground level, often more than 15 minutes for areas outside of the immediate blast damage zone. This is enough time for you to be able to prevent significant radiation exposure by following these simple steps. All right, and before I get into the steps, I do want to mention, do you remember back in January 2018 when there was a false alarm about an ICBM coming to Hawaii? All right, let's just say that was a real scenario, that an ICBM was really, sent by North Korea, and that there was going to be an explosion. Those people did get a heads up, all right, but a lot of people did not know how to react. They had no clue what to do, all right? That is the purpose for this video, because I want you to know exactly what to do, and it's coming from the government, so you know that it's a reliable information on what to do on it. All right, it goes on to say, get inside. Get inside the nearest building to avoid radiation. Brick or concrete are best. Remove contaminated clothing and wipe off or wash unprotected skin if you were outside after the fallout arrived. Go to the basement or middle of the building. Stay away from the outer walls and roof. All right, so I wanna comment on that real quick, okay? If you live in a major city that you know it's gonna get nuked, okay, by a country, which would be LA, New York. I mean, New York gets nuked in every movie that was ever made, right? So it would be wise for you in New York to have this ready. Florida, Vegas, Texas, Seattle, you know, major cities, Atlanta, Chicago, you know, just to name a few all throughout the country. If you live in any of those in any of those cities, and any major city really, you should go ahead and have your bug out bag ready. You should have your nuclear disaster kit ready, all right? Which both of those you can find at the Man-Made Survival store. You can find the bug out bag. It's gonna have everything you need. It's gonna have the radio that you're gonna be able to listen to for any instructions from the government. It's gonna have water in it. It's gonna have food in it, and it's gonna have your survival equipment. You know, like your flashlights and all that good stuff. All right. So I encourage you to go to manmadesurvivalstore.com. Also, on the nuclear survival kit, right? You're gonna have your mask. You're gonna have your suit. You're gonna have the iodine tablets, because if your skin is exposed or you breathe any of that radiation, it gets inside of you, whatever manner, then you can bet that you're going to have radiation poisoning. That's why it's important for you to have iodine tablets with you as well. All right, so that's why I encourage you to go to Man-Made Survival store and check out those products. All right, so the article goes on to say, stay inside. Stay inside for 24 hours unless local authorities provide other instructions. Families should stay where they are inside. Reunite later to avoid exposure to dangerous radiation. Keep your pets inside. All right, I wanna come back and say something real quick, that you and your family should already have a plan on what to do when something like that was to happen. Okay, if you live in a major city, you should have a plan where your family knows not to go outside for whatever reason. And in their bug out bag or in their nuclear disaster bag, they should also have a ham radio, okay, with an antenna powerful enough to be able to communicate, hopefully. You know, it depends on where you work. If you're too far away, then it's not going to work. The point is that you have a rally point, you have communication. Once you get into range, you're going to be able to know that everybody's safe, all right? And also, who's going to pick up your kids from school if your local city is nuked, okay? They're going to be freaking out, and you're going to have to get to them as fast as you can. But if fallout is raining down on you, then you're going to die a miserable death. All right? We have seen that all throughout history that has had nuclear disasters, all right? So the article goes on to say the next thing. Stay tuned. Tune into any media available for official information such as when it is safe to exit and where you should go. Battery-operated and hand-cranked radios will function after a nuclear detonation. Cell phone, text messaging, television, and internet services may be disrupted or unavailable. All right? I want to also come back and say this. The reason you need the radio, all right, obviously is to get information, but I don't know if you know this, the government, or at least the White House, you know, they have the emergency communications network to where the president pretty much presses a button and the same message is broadcasted through TV and radio. It's going to be the same, all right? And then that's how you're going to know what to do. So it won't matter on what radio station you tune into. Everything's going to have the same message, all right? So that's how you're going to get information from the government. So that's why it's important for you to have that radio within you. And again, it's in the bug out bag that I have in my store, MadmanSurvivalStore.com. All right, the article goes on to say, how to stay safe in the event of a nuclear explosion. Prepare now, which is something that I've always said. Prepare now. Identify shelter locations. Identify the best shelter location near where you spend a lot of time, such as home, work, and school. The best locations are underground and in the middle of a large building. While commuting, identify appropriate shelters to seek in the event of a detonation. Outdoor areas, vehicles, mobile homes do not provide adequate shelter. Look for a basement or the center of a large multi-story building. Make sure that you have an emergency supply kit for places you frequently and might have to stay for 24 hours. It should include bottled water, packaged food, emergency medicines, and hand crank or battery power radio to get information in case power is out, a flashlight and extra batteries for essential items. If possible, store supplies for 3 or 4 days. All right, again, it's something that you're going to be able to find within that bug out bag at the MadmanSurvivalStore.com. Survive during. If warned of an imminent attack, immediately get inside the nearest building and move away from windows. This will help provide protection from the blast, heat, and radiation of the detonation. If you are outdoors when the detonation occurs, take cover from the blast behind anything that might offer protection. Lie face down to protect exposed skin from the heat and flying debris. If you are in a vehicle, stop safely and duck down within the vehicle. After the shock wave passes, get inside the nearest best shelter location for protection from potential fallout. You will have 10 minutes or more to find an adequate shelter. Be inside before the fallout arrives. The highest outdoor radiation level from the fallout occurs immediately after the fallout arrives and then decreases with time. Stay tuned for updated instructions from emergency response officials. If advised to evacuate, listen for information about routes, shelters, and procedures. If you have evacuated, do not return until you are told it is safe to do so by local officials. Be safe after. Immediately after you are inside shelter, if you have been outside after the fallout arrived, remove your outer layer, contaminated clothing to remove fallout and radiation from your body. Take a shower or wash with soap and water to remove fallout from any skin or hair that was not covered. If you cannot wash or shower, use a wipe or clean wet cloth to wipe any skin or hair that was not covered. Clean any pets that were outside after the fallout arrived. Gently brush your pet's coat to remove any fallout particles and wash your pet with soap and water if available. All right, I want to come back and say something. I mean, I know the government is saying that, but I wouldn't touch the animal because, I mean, you know, he's good as dead anyways. And if you were able to keep yourself safe from any radiation exposure, just bringing the pet in the house and giving him a shower, you're going to expose the entire family to radiation. So, you know, use your best judgment on that one. It is safe to eat or drink packaged food items or items that were inside a building. Do not consume food or liquids that were outdoors, uncovered, and may be contaminated by fallout. If you are sick or injured, listen for instructions on how and where to get medical attention when authorities tell you it is safe to exit. Hazards related to nuclear explosion. Big flash can cause temporary blindness for less than a minute. Blast wave can cause death, injury, and damage to structures several miles out from the blast. Radiation can damage cells of the body. Large exposure can cause radiation sickness. Fire and heat can cause death, burn injuries, and damage to structures several miles out. Electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, can damage electrical power equipment and electronics several miles out from the detonation and cause temporary disruptions further out. Fallout is radioactive, visible dirt and debris raining down from several miles up that can cause sickness to those who are outside. All right, so that was pretty much everything that they had said in this article. And the reason that I wanted to do it is straight from the government is so it could be reliable information that you know you can trust. All right, I'm not saying that you can't trust me, but in something of this magnitude, it is best for you to get your information from the government. Because, again, they're the ones that test all of this. They're the ones that spend billions and billions of dollars that I frankly do not have in order to study all of these things and know what to do. That's why I wanted to use what the government says. All right? So I encourage you to go ahead and get prepared, because you don't want to prepare when you already had a blast over your head, right? You want to be prepared beforehand. That is the wise thing to do, as coronavirus has taught us for the last 7 months of 2020. So again, I encourage you to go to manmansurvivalstore.com and find the items that that are gonna help you survive something like this. But also make your own plan with your own family. What are your kids gonna do if there's a detonation, okay, and they're still in school, or you cannot get to them in time? Who's gonna go pick them up? All right, what are you gonna eat if you do make it home? Because there's gonna be a lot of chaos. There won't be any trucks running anywhere. All right, especially if there's a detonation over your city, you can bet that an attack is next, or another attack, maybe an invasion. Who knows? The point is that things are gonna be very chaotic at that point. So it's important for you to be prepared beforehand. All right. So I want to leave you with that. I want you to think about it. I want you to get ready. Even if you don't buy it from me, buy it from someone and get prepared. All right. So again, my name is Jose Prado, and remember, always ready.
The Man-Made Survival Show.